Today we're starting a journey of leaf level insights and data-driven decisions. But for the last couple of years, I've used Taranis Drone Scouting to help make better decisions in how we caretake our crops. Today marks episode 1, where we start with our first flight. We will go all the way through the growing season with all 6 flights, where we will see what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and what Mother Nature is doing to try to stymie us in the process. I'm Tyler Tobald.
Hey, I'm Trevor Cox with CVA.
And welcome to J-Tech Farms. With our first flight, we're looking at weeds and stand count. And stand count's where we're going to get started first because we noticed some problems right quick. Here's a screenshot. We're sitting on our west file field and we're at 79% of our target population. And I've got Trevor out with me today, trying to figure out why that is.
So like Tyler said, 79% of a stand, not ideal. So we're out here figuring out why. We found our first culprit. So here is a healthy corn plant. You can see the mesocotyl made its way up to the surface very nicely. Healthy corn plant, roots look good. A lot of these skips that we're seeing are this guy. So you can see there's a lot of corkscrewing going on it and ended up leafing out underground. Versus this guy, you can see it kinked twice. The same problem happened, but it was able to correct course, make its way to the surface, and survive. It is behind. It's not as healthy of a corn plant, but it will still make it'll make a crop.
So right here, we've got one of our skips, and I dug down a little bit, and sure enough, leafed out underground.
One thing you get when you get cold rain is you get seedling diseases, so that's what we've got here. This is Rhizoctonia. So as you can see, there's these lesions on the mesocotyl there. It's basically burning that off, not letting it sprout, and it kills the seed. That's what's going on here. So we haven't seen a ton of this. We've seen much more leafing out underground, but this is present.
So there's one reason we have a bit of an issue. However, there is a second. If you look at this picture here, you'll see we've got quite a few doubles and quite a few skips, indicating that we have a bit of a planter issue out here. Right here is one of those doubles. And then right over there, another double. There's quite a few of them scattered around here. And then right there, we've got a skip. So with a combination of some planter issues and corkscrewing underground, that's kind of explaining why we've got a lackluster stand.
A lot of times guys will think their planter does a much better job than what it really does, and then when they see the Taranis flights, they realize that they need to get those meters calibrated. We see that a lot, and I would say this is a perfect example of that.
Another issue we noticed out here, we've got some weed problems, which you could obviously see right behind me. When it was time to burn this down, you know, normally put pre-emerge on and everything else before planting, it was so dry. We were actually worried that we were getting ready to roll into year 4 of a bad drought. And after a lot of talking, a lot of discussing, looking at, you know, long-range forecasts, all that kind of good stuff, we came to the conclusion that putting down some sort of residual with our burn down was probably not a great plan, just because it was so dry. They weren't talking rain, and my chemical guy was really worried that it just wasn't even going to activate, and we were just going to waste, you know, a fair bit of money per acre.
So yeah, hindsight's 2020. We weren't expecting all of that rain that we got. We had a fair amount of it too. It really turned on and got wet, and it stayed wet for quite a while. So obviously we should have had some kind of a residual out here, and we should have had a little bit hotter of a mix to kill this cover crop as well. We'll have to figure out how spicy of a mix we can get out here without damaging the corn and still taking out all the weed issues that we've got. So we've got 3-leaf corn. It's not going to be super tolerant to a lot yet, but we're going to see what we can do.
Admittedly, the weed issue out here, it's bad news. It's going to require quite the mixture to get this taken care of. However, there is a little bit of good news, and that is our other corn patch, the file hill. You see, that looks a lot better. So this is going to need to get sprayed PDQ. The file hill, we're just going to let that wait, get some more rain on it, see if we can get some more weeds to come up before we come through on a post with it.
Another thing guys will think about, you get a scenario like this where the stand is poured, is a replant justified? In this case, I'd say no, just because we're pushing June. His stand is, by the time all of these few that are slow to come up, like we've got this guy down here, just poking its way out of the ground. By the time he's all said and done, he's going to be well over 17,000. In this geography, that's going to be fine. It's not ideal, but it is fine, and where it's getting late in the season, I think leaving it alone is going to be the best option here.
One of the things that I really like about Taranis is that it's just data that we're getting. We're not getting any extra recommendations. There's nobody else's opinion before this information gets to us. It's just facts. And then armed with all these facts, Trevor and I can come out here to the field and have a conversation, and with all those facts, make a better data-driven solution. Hope to see you back next time for episode 2. As always, thanks for stopping by.